Yes, hello everybody, and welcome to the On the Pine podcast. It's a Melrose and Nashi special. No Matty Hughes today. We're going straight to the NBA, so we thought we'll keep Hughesy out because he's not quite on. This is in his area, and that's okay. He's got the cricket. He's watching the Australia A downstairs play India. So Melrose got a very special episode today. It's going to be a quick one, but we're going to get it done really well. Okay, so we're going to do, if every team could select a starting five from every player their franchise has had from 2000 to now, that's the starting five we're going to pick. So we're picking them on their form for that team only. For example, James Harden, his form with Houston has no bearing on his OKC pick. So that's what we're rolling with. All right.
It would have been nice, but
yeah, it would have been nice, but we can't quite.
We'll stick to them at their best at that franchise,
which makes it more interesting because it's a lot more research. Got to see
a bit tougher
how guys actually played for that franchise.
I was surprised when I was looking through and making my choices. Certain teams don't have certain positions. Like there's no dominant point guard or small forward at some franchises. So yeah, it was interesting.
Now we're going to go from the standings from last season. So you're going to start us off with the West with the Lakers, who are probably the most stacked team in this segment.
I like it. It's probably my favourite.
Yep.
So I'll go from the guards first. So we've got Derek Fisher at point. Obviously Kobe Bryant at the shooting guard position. And I move on to the forwards. We got LeBron James at the small forward position and Pau Gasol at the four. And at centre we got the big man.
This is the one I was waiting for.
We got Shaq. We got Shaquille O'Neal.
That power forward one is the one I was waiting for.
Yeah, because we spoke about it before.
We did.
And who do you think my sixth man is then?
AD.
Yep. Anthony Davis. Yep.
1 year, but good enough for 1 year.
Yep.
So I'll give you my one quick. I did a little comparison. I'd put LeBron at the point just because you can do that. Kobe. And then, I couldn't decide. I'm probably the same as you. Then I had like a Metta World piece at small forward. Liked his work with LA.
Yep.
And then probably Pau just for longevity. Shaquille and AD at the six.
Yep.
Good, Melrose. Great start. The Clippers for me, Chris Paul at the point. Pretty clear. This is basically their team from that.
Yeah, I found there was a lot of that. Yeah. There was a lot of that, yeah.
JJ Redick at the shooting guard. That's where he hit his best form. Kawhi Leonard at the three. Only the 1 year, but you're not going to find many other small forwards in the Clippers history, I don't think. Blake Griffin and then Elton Brand at the center.
At center?
Yep. Big boy.
Yeah, okay.
And then sixth man, Corey Maggette.
Gee, that's some serious NBA live-by weight.
So
like that
is a throwback.
Maggette in that like weird, like the old-fashioned riding Clippers jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Lamar Odom type deal.
Okay. No DeAndre Jordan at center?
Nah, didn't quite cut it.
None of that Lob City.
Nah. Well, I mean, all NBA first team at some point in there, and was USA team, all that jazz. But
you reckon?
This was a stats based opinion.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Now you're up next with Denver.
Denver. Yep. All right. So, okay. Point guard Andre Miller. It was tough. Because I'm looking at stats, as you said, and Miller played a majority of his career in Denver, and he wasn't bad. He was a solid point guard.
Yep.
But besides him, like I was looking at, okay, they've got Ty Lawson. Didn't do enough. Jamal Murray's been great, but it's only been, 2 seasons?
I will give you, Jamal Murray has been super inconsistent until the bubble.
Yeah, exactly. So if you looked at Jamal Murray in the bubble, straight in. But can he replicate that going forward? So if I'll
give you the benefit of the doubt there. I'd almost still give it to Murray, but
if we do this in 5 years' time,
different story.
He'll probably slot in.
Yep.
At the shooting guard position, Allen Iverson. So I didn't realise, but he had a career best year. Was
it one?
At Denver.
1 year there? Or
two or three, I think.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time at the point guard, but we can slot him in as the two because he's played a lot of his time as a two guard. I think he averaged 26 points a game, across 82, started in all of them. Mm-hmm. So straight in.
Yep.
Small forward, Carmelo Anthony. We love the Denver Mello.
Obvious choice.
Power forward, Danilo Gallinari.
Yep.
He was solid.
Young Danilo.
And obviously at center we got Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, easy pick. Okay.
And then my sixth man, there's two guys, right? Jamal Murray's one, but then J.R. Smith played the sixth man position better than anyone at Denver.
Yep. Well, so who are you picking?
I'll probably take Murray.
Yep.
But Smith gets a mention.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was averaging in double figures.
You can't not mention him when he was dominating that sixth man position.
He literally had that position.
And then in New York again as well.
Yeah. And as I said, every season in Denver, I'm pretty sure he rarely started and managed to average double figures every season.
Super athletic too, which I didn't
Oh,
realise.
he was crazy. That posterized dunk, you don't forget that.
No, that's one of those all-time dunks. I reckon it's underrated. It doesn't get mentioned
It's
enough.
crazy.
That's a ridiculous.
He's literally jumped from the free throw line. I can't remember who he jumped on.
It was some Spurs guard.
Okay. Let's just sort of get out of the way.
Double-handed it.
I wish he was out of the way, but I don't at the same time.
I'll put that on the same level as that Dwayne Wade dunk on Anderson Varejao.
Yep.
I'll put that on the same level.
Another one, yep.
Houston, pretty stacked team. Houston, they've had some serious talent at multiple positions.
Well, they've been solid.
The
They've been consistent.
A playoff team almost every year
season,
for this past 20 years. So clear choice. James Harden at the point guard. Steve Francis, shooting guard. He's tiny, but I'll put him at the shooting guard.
Okay, yeah.
You look at me funny.
Well, I would have had James Harden at the 2.
Well, he has the ball in his hand all the time.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Tracy McGrady at 3, and then the Twin Towers, Dwight Howard and Yao Ming at the 4 and 5.
Okay, but Dwight Houston wasn't amazing.
He was still good.
He's good, but I always think of like the Dwight Orlando. The Orlando Dwight was just...
The end of his time in Houston was that start of the decline. But if you look back, they were a really good team. And he was still in really good nick for them with James Harden for those few years. And then the 6-man Chris Paul.
Yeah, okay.
I almost went Luis Scola.
Jeez,
do you remember him? The Argentinian. He dominated
back in
the bench. He loved it.
NBA Live 07 star.
Yep. And if you look back at his numbers, put up some serious stats.
He was a solid player.
Yeah. Came in at like 27, obviously already experienced, and had some really good years. So he almost got the nod, but not quite.
All right. Over to OKC, a team that's sort of switched with Houston a bit recently. Like the two teams have sort of traded superstars.
Stacked too in this, I feel.
This is a stacked team. This is for me almost on par with the Lakers.
Uh-huh.
All right, so point guard, we got Russell Westbrook. Shooting guard, Ray Allen. So Ray Allen played for the Sonics. Mm-hmm. And obviously the Sonics became the Thunder. Mm-hmm. So he counts. Yep. Small forward, Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
Power forward, Serge Ibaka.
Yep.
And at centre, we got Steven Adams.
Okay.
So it's a pretty modern team.
You've gone, because you could almost say, if you wanted to, PG at the 3, KD at the 4, and then Ibaka at the 5. If you really wanted to. I
could have done that, yeah. But trying to stick to the same, their actual positions. And then the 6-man, we're going James Harden. He could have, if we were counting.
So no PG.
No PG.
Even the MVP caliber PG.
Yeah, no.
Really?
Well, because I don't know. James Harden, he was still a freak off the bench. He
was their 6th man.
And that's what, sort of drove him into NBA stardom. His time in OKC then went on to his opportunity at Houston.
Remember when he left OKC?
Yeah.
And then that very first game with Houston, dropped 40.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
It was, as I said, it was all he was like a caged animal just waiting to be unleashed.
I think I'd go super small and go Russ, Ray, PG, KD, Ibaka.
Yeah, you could. As I said, I was trying to keep...
That was peak PG, MVP form. He's slid down in my respectability ranks as of late.
Well, as I said,
that was peak him.
Yeah, I looked at that and I'm sort of trying to keep them in their positions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you're doing that, you could go small.
If you're doing this 25 years ago and you had the same guys, you'd be going the super tall. Whereas now you can go, you know what I mean? Now you can go
flexible. We've got
flexible, have a KD at the 4.
Yeah.
Fuck, you can play KD at the 5 if you want to. That's just where the game's gone.
100%.
So I've got Utah. You're gonna like this.
Here we go.
This is a throwback. There's a couple of guys near you like, oi. Darren Williams at the point.
Yeah, okay. Respectable.
Yeah. Not really many other options apart from him. That John Stockton played a few years into the 2000s, retired in 03.
His prime was over.
And still put up some numbers, but obviously the impact wasn't there. Donovan Mitchell at the 2, Gordon Hayward at the 3, had 7 really good years.
Ingles doesn't cut it? Or?
Not quite. Out of the 2 white guys. Just going Hayward, I think.
No, Jazz Hayward was good.
Yeah, we remember when he went to Boston, that was the biggest move.
Yeah.
That off-season. That was a massive signing. Karl Malone at the 4, still put up some good numbers into the 2000s, so he sneaks in. Rudy Gobert at the 5, and then, wait for this,
here we go.
Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, I like that.
6th man.
I like that. Although, I remember him mostly from Chicago.
Yeah.
In that D-Rose
I reckon him at Chicago is when we first really were into watching it full on.
Properly, yeah.
Properly.
Yeah.
But, mate, his numbers for Utah, go look them up. They're unbelievable.
He was solid.
Yeah.
As I said, like NBA Live 07 stuff. I know he was with them at, that time, but
some serious stats.
Way back. Like, he was a freak on 2K.
And then mentioned of Paul Millsap, he could have jumped in there as well. Yep. He could have been in a couple of these teams.
He could have, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I got Memphis next. Is that correct?
No, you got Dallas next.
Dallas. Okay. So at point guard, we go on Luka Doncic.
Yep.
There hasn't been many superstar point guards.
Not point guards. Nah. JJ Brower.
At shooting guard, we got Jason Terry.
Yep.
Small forward, Michael Finley.
Okay.
It was either him or Josh Howard. They haven't had many great small forwards.
Okay, so I like this. I'll do the rest and I'll rebut.
Power forward, Dirk Nowitzki.
Yep.
And then at center, we got Tyson Chandler.
Yep.
And then my sixth man, Steve Nash. So the reason he's the sixth man is like his best came after he left Dallas.
Yeah.
Obviously, he went to Phoenix and then won the MVP and all that. So he was solid, but you're going to take Doncic at the point.
Yeah. I'm with you there. And Jason Terry was an elite shooting guard of the time.
The Jason Terry jet.
Yeah.
Like, even I used to try that in under 12s. I'd hit a three and I'd run down Waverley's court one and be,
I can see that. I can see that. You've got pink shoes on or some shit.
Yeah, it'd be pink or green or blue or whatever.
The brighter the better.
And I would fly down the court.
Did you have
on the runway?
Did you have like the knee pads, like skins?
No sort of goggles and knee pads and none of that.
Now, Dallas was one of the interesting ones because my two small forwards I thought you could chuck in there. One was Sean Marion.
Looked at it, but he's more a four. Like
well,
he can play the three.
It was a double-double.
Yeah.
So you can see him as more of a four. And then even if you wanted to, you could chuck a Vince Carter in there.
You could, but
past his prime once in Dallas, but he was another one. So I like that you've got who are your two? Finley.
It was Finley and
Josh
Howard. So Howard broke down with injury.
Yeah.
And Finley was solid. I think I can't remember how many, but he shot a ton of points.
Yeah.
And like he's someone that we wouldn't know too much about because he was sort of like early to mid 2000s, like before
maybe
2010.
just before our time.
Just before we started.
Yeah.
But he was a solid forward sort of position. He played at the Spurs as well, I think, and probably a few other teams.
Yeah. Dallas have just had like that core group of, I don't know, just good role players.
Yeah.
But their stats and that are all similar and probably their impact is all similar. And so it's hard to differentiate.
Well, it's like they had Jason Kidd as well. That's another point guard you throw in. But once again,
past his prime
He played for them earlier in his career, I think, as well. But
him and Steve actually did a little switcheroo, I think. Yeah. Like that, Dallas. Now I've got Portland, I believe. Yeah, 8 seed. No, we're getting there. Actually, this was pretty tough. So they had some good bigs in their time in this last 20 years. So Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, obviously the backcourt, and then I've chucked Brandon Roy in at the 3.
Yeah, like that.
He's a tall guard anyway. You can put him there. LaMarcus Aldridge was a serious player at Portland, and when he went to San Antonio, that was one of the bigger signings of that year as well. And then I've gone with Rasheed Wallace.
Okay, not Greg Oden.
At centre. Not quite.
Not quite. Okay.
If we were doing like could have beens, Greg Oden's like the captain.
Yeah. The Rasheed Wallace, like in his Detroit days as well, like he was a beast.
Yeah.
Him and Ben Wallace.
Yeah.
Two scary guys.
Scary men.
Like I'd turn on NBA Live 07.
Straight to Detroit.
I'd be scared.
Even Rip Hamilton and Chauncey were scary. Had that sort of mean
like,
mug
face.
Face. Yeah. And Rip Chauncey Hamilton, was just like resting bitch face.
Yeah, I don't know who they had at the 3.
Tayshaun Prince.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, just he was like lanky man.
Yeah,
he was kind of scary in his own way. It was like
Sean Livingston.
Mm-hmm.
Same sort of look.
Sort of like you think you're past him, and then the big arm comes winding around, and like a
that's
KD type build.
And your 6th man,
Zach Randolph.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that was his sort of rookie to 4th or 5th year. It was. I was battling between him and a couple others, but sort of longevity and some good numbers, and then that obviously carried into his Memphis days and all that. But Randolph at the 6. So a big team. We're big.
So I got Memphis now.
Got Memphis.
Speaking of Zach Randolph, he's in this team.
Yeah, no doubt.
So he's done well, double mention.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much Memphis' team.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, so I don't know, was it 20... I can't remember when it was.
2011 to the sort of 2015, 16.
Sort of, yeah. And this team was very good. They were up the top of the West.
Almost, they were up 2-1 against the Warriors in 2015, the year the Warriors won the title.
Yep. A very solid team. So point guard Mike Conley.
Yep.
Shooting guard OJ Mayo.
So no Jai just yet?
No, not yet.
Not quite.
Needs a bit more.
Yep.
Small forward Rudy Gay.
Okay.
He was a freak at Memphis.
Yeah, yep.
Power forward, obviously, Zach Randolph.
Mm-hmm.
And centre Marcus Sol.
Yep.
I
was going to say, sorry, six man.
And my six man is Tony Allen.
Okay.
Defensive stopper.
Yeah. I was going to say, I had him at the 3 to start.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So, but like the Memphis Rudy Gay, that was when, in my opinion, he was at his best.
Yeah,
I think he had his best numbers there as well.
Yeah, okay, I'll get that.
Yep.
And you loved OJ Mayo. He was one of your one season wonders.
He was very good. He was a gun shooter.
Yeah.
And then obviously, had some violations at the league and that was it. But I think he's in China now.
What do you have again? Guns?
No, I think it was drugs.
Drugs. Oh, he's got a ban.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, OJ Mayo, that's a throwback. All right.
I love the name as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just has a good ring to it.
Bit of him and Ariza on top of the burger. If anyone doesn't get that reference, just go back to a few episodes. Now we get into the bottom lot, obviously, with Memphis. So Phoenix now, for me, almost pretty simple. Yeah, pretty simple. Steve Nash at the guard, point guard, obviously. Evan Marbury.
Yep.
Shooting guard.
Yep.
Put Devin Booker at the 3. He's a little bit undersized for the 3, but I feel like he'd be able to hold his own. Because I had to get him in.
So that's where I bring in Sean Marion. Because him at Phoenix.
He's at the 4.
Okay, and then you got Stoudemire at the 5.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take that.
Yeah. So that's small ball.
It is small.
So I feel like it represents as well the dominant Phoenix team of just, using the shot clock quickly, transition, pace.
Yep.
And then sixth man, I've got Jason Kidd. Only played a couple of seasons into the 2000s with Phoenix, but in those 2 years, All-NBA first team both years, All-Star, all the work. So it makes the cut.
So I got the Spurs.
Spurs.
Sure next, yeah.
Fuck, pretty easy again. I'll be really rattled if you've got something different to me now.
I probably will.
Okay.
So point guard, we got Patty Mills.
You kidding?
I got Tony Parker. So we got Tony Parker at point. You fell for that.
You didn't say anything for a little while.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to really.
I was just waiting for your reaction.
Yeah. Okay.
So at shooting guard, we got obviously Manu Ginobili.
Yep.
At small forward, we got Kawhi Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
At power forward, Tim Duncan.
Yep.
And the center, I've put 2 in here. So one of them was past his prime by the 2000s.
Okay.
So it's David Robinson.
Yeah, he was mine.
But there was only a couple of years, and he was past his best.
Yep.
The other one I put in there as a slash was LaMarcus Aldridge. He's had some solid years.
Yeah.
So I'd rather Robinson, but
okay.
I'll put in Aldridge. If we're thinking that Robinson's past.
That is tough actually because
they were both probably past their best.
LA still put up some good numbers, and before this season just gone, obviously he was helping the Spurs to still make the playoffs and keep them relevant. So, six man, we're going with Aldridge.
No. So he's
he's emergency. His first drop.
He's emergency. Yeah. DeMar DeRozan.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. I think he's averaged 20 plus the past 2 seasons. Solid player.
Yeah.
Put him in there.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot about Aldridge. Yeah, that's a
tough
decision. Yeah.
It's hard because Robinson was past his best.
Yeah. But you'd still take what he could
just his
can
presence.
do. Yeah. The physical.
Him and Tim Duncan, a young Tim Duncan with David Robinson. That was probably the best big men pair in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially that first championship in '99.
Yeah, exactly.
Young TD.
And the hard thing is that's just before 2000. We just missed it.
Yeah.
So,
true. Yeah. There's a few of those. Like going through Basketball Reference and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a few guys where you're like, just not enough in the 2000s, but did heaps.
Yeah.
In those late 90s sort of thing.
Very true.
All right, Sacramento. Now this is kind of depressing.
There's one in here that should be. If he's not in there, I'm gonna throw something at you.
Just nothing expensive.
Everything around me is expensive.
Yeah, you're
all
right.
I've got is my phone.
So at the point guard, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You could have said Mike Bibby.
Yeah,
solid.
I was floating around with him for the sixth man.
Yeah.
At the guard, Kevin Martin.
Yeah.
Small forward, Peja Stojakovic.
Stojakovic.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was going to say, if you don't have him in there.
Mate, don't worry, I did my research, I know.
NBA Ballers, 2005, pairs 2.
Yep.
He was a star.
Superstar.
Could not be beaten.
Yep, so him
Good.
at the 3, Chris Webber at the 4, and DeMarcus Cousins at the 5.
Yeah, okay. I'd agree.
Chris Webber
he was
put
a
up
star.
some serious numbers
Yep.
in that time.
Yep.
And then I loved Sacramento DeMarcus Cousins. I know he was a fucking head case, but
Yep.
he was one of my favourites.
That's where he's played his best basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 6th man, I went with Buddy Hield.
Yeah, okay.
There's a bunch of guys that sort of like Mike Bibby, Metal World Peace had played like 3 years there, put up some good numbers, but I was just sort of thinking modern NBA, Buddy Hield, he's can shoot the ball from anywhere, puts up some good numbers, gets a few assists as well for a shooting guard and doesn't have the ball in his hands a lot, so
you'll take that.
we're going with him.
So I've got the Pelicans.
Yep.
Next, so obviously this is the Hornets as well.
Yep.
Like the New Orleans Hornets.
Yeah, into the Pelicans.
They became the Pelicans,
Yep.
So point guard Chris Paul.
Obvious.
Shooting guard Drew Holiday.
Yep.
Small forward. Okay, so I had Stojakovic first. I paid just Stojakovic.
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay, look, I should probably see what his numbers were like because I know he played his best basketball at Sacramento.
Uh-huh.
So what were they like in New Orleans? Look, he didn't play a lot because he was injured.
Yep.
Still averaged good numbers, but didn't play much.
Uh-huh.
So I put Tyreek Evans in there.
Okay.
Not a superstar.
Yep.
But he's put up double figures.
Just slightly better.
Yeah, every season. So I had him as my choice, but if Stojakovic was injury free, he'd be in there.
Yeah.
Power forward David West.
Uh-huh.
That sort of 1-2 punch with Chris Paul, the pick and roll.
Yep.
Elite. And at centre, Anthony Davis.
Okay.
And then my 6th man, I just said either of the small forwards. So either Tyreek Evans or Paige.
Whoever you're not putting in.
Whoever doesn't make it is the 6th
Does
man.
DeMarcus Cousins float your boat there at all?
Nah, I didn't do enough.
Yep.
Yep.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Him and AD, like,
what's
I
going to
like
happen
that
soon?
pairing.
Yeah.
It was looking good.
Well, what's going to happen soon? Soon it'll be the power forward will be Zion.
Yep.
And David West will become the 6th man probably.
Yep. Yeah, it's similar to what I had. I just wish DeMarcus Cousins and AD could have stayed a little longer. Wish he hadn't got injured.
Yeah.
Would have been good to watch for the last couple of years.
Very true.
All right, to finish off from my end, Minnesota. Yeah, this is tough. You have to help me with the pronunciation of one of these names. So point guard Sam Castle.
Yeah.
Best seasons with KG in those early 2000s. Shooting guard Terrell Brandon. Don't know if you've ever heard him, but
I actually haven't.
when
did he play?
Basketball Reference, early 2000s. Like,
okay.
I just had to Minnesota. I was just scrolling like who played in the 2000s numbers. He was there. Wally Serbiak.
Yep, correct. You've said that right.
I have, yes. I listened to it on a podcast the other day, so I'm so glad.
He was a star.
I heard that.
He could shoot the ball. He could shoot the lights out.
Yeah, from all accounts, I was obviously too young to watch him back then, but very good player. Kevin Garnett at the 4, clear as day, and Cat at the 5, and then Kevin Love comes at the 6.
Yeah, would take that.
Yeah, I was sort of...
It's hard because I would say Kevin Love over Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah,
but he's not a 5-man, and either is KG.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a stretch to have two real undersized guys.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my Minnesota.
All right. So to finish off for me, we've got the Golden State Warriors, which usually would be higher up, but right at the bottom.
Yeah. This is a stack.
It's a championship team besides the 6-man. So it's at point guard Stephen Curry, shooting guard Klay Thompson, small forward Kevin Durant, power forward Draymond Green, and then at center we've got Andrew Bogut.
That's exactly what I had.
It was either him or Zaza, but Bogut.
Don't even try and put Zaza in there, man.
Almost an all-star. The home country loved him.
Fuck that guy. He sucks.
As I said, Bogut definitely had a more consistent career with Golden State. A few more seasons as well. And then my 6th man, Baron Davis. Davis. Yeah. He was elite. Like he was so athletic.
You'd love to find a way to get him in the starters, but you can't have Klay Thompson in there.
You can't knock the Splash Brothers out. I mean, almost Monte Ellis as well. He was a freak.
I mean, if you really wanted to, you could almost go like Steph, Baron Davis, Clay, KD, Draymond.
There's not a lot of balance in that team though.
But like that's their deathly small ball lineup type deal
it
that
could
they've had
work.
in their championship years.
But
or you put KD at the 5, like he can play the 5.
That's true. As I said, I was trying to keep them in their positions.
Yeah. But I like the traditional side.
Was looking at it, we're going point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. 6-man.
Yep.
But Baron Davis and Monte Ellis,
got to have one of those in. Yeah.
They have to get a mention.
Yeah.
Because in the sort of late 2000s before 2010, they were great. When Steph was young, They're an exciting team, Golden State. They always have been.
07, we believe.
The We Believe.
I wish we were like our age then watching that because that would have been mad.
Yeah.
I just don't know when we're going to see that again.
Crazy atmosphere as well.
Yeah, when we're going to see an 8 seed beat a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thought this year Portland was the best chance. I didn't believe that, but just don't think it's going to happen unless the Lakers make it, say, this year and AD and LeBron both do their knees.
Was it Memphis
or
San Antonio? One or the other beat the other one. So one was the first seed and one was the 8th seed a few years back.
I'd say Memphis would have been.
I think Memphis were 8th and I'm pretty sure they beat the Spurs. And I think that was that Mike Conley team.
Yeah.
Zach Randolph.
Grit and grind, Memphis.
Yeah.
I'd love to say it would be unbelievable to watch, but unless there's a catastrophic injury to one or two of the star players on the best team, I'm not sure if it's going to ever. But actually, it will. It will eventually.
As I said to you before we got on as well, if you had to pick a starting 5 from the West, across those 20 years,
okay, from the West,
who would yours be?
Who would mine be? So Kobe's your shooting guard.
We almost agreed on it, so we spoke about it.
Who was our point guard?
So our point guard was Curry.
That's right. So Steph.
So we had Steph Curry,
Kobe at the shooting guard.
Here's the interesting thing, though. You got Allen Iverson, but I guess he's better. He was better at.
Steph's better.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like his dominant years were with Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So you could sort of leave him out of the West.
Either way, I think
you'd have to have
Steph's
Steph.
making that.
Yeah, you'd have to have Steph.
Steph, Kobe, LeBron.
Yep. And at the 4,
Shaq was our 5. The 4's very open.
Okay, so
you
said Tim Duncan.
Oh, sorry, no. So it's not open for debate.
So
it's Tim Duncan.
So you say I say Dirk.
Fuck off. Oh.
I mean, you can it's almost a slash.
This is not a knock on Dirk, but Tim Duncan was just simply better.
I guess they were different sort of power forwards.
Yeah.
One was more of a shooter, being Dirk, and one was more inside, which is obviously Tim Duncan. But yeah, I mean, like,
I'd love to watch Tim Duncan because he sort of.
He was a bit before Dirk.
He was just before like the league became this 3-point shooting fest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would have loved to have seen
if he
him
could shoot the ball.
Get to this point where he could play the 5, stretch the floor, and shoot threes.
Yep,
that would have been fun to watch. But different. Yeah, that's a sick era though.
Both are
for
great
power
fits,
forwards because you've got like KG in there as well,
Yep.
Dirk. TD, like Chris Webber.
They'd have to be your top.
Chris Webber's numbers back in for those couple of years in Sacramento, his numbers were as good as anyone's. Not too bad, Melrose. We didn't disagree on too much.
As I said, very very similar. But you'd have those. I reckon out of those power forwards that we were talking about then, Dirk, KG, and TD are your 3.
Yep.
But overall, it was pretty, as you said, it was pretty.
It's pretty. Yeah,
there's
a few guys though where you got to do a few teams where you got to do some research.
There's some research involved
to get some names because it's tough going picking them. But yeah, I liked it. And then I've got the Eastern Conference coming up in the next episode.
That'll be up next. Yeah.
Some tough ones to pick there as well. So keep an eye out for that, listeners. Thanks, Melrose.
Always a pleasure.